turns around and goes in my face. Yeah, like that. It goes right in my face like that. I'm going, yeah, okay, no, it's not over yet.
So commentating some of my many heartbreaks over the years in those finals, but
I've
actual
commentated you a few times. I hope I was tender in
no,
that game.
you boosted my ego so many times, Tom. Honestly, it's just a
Okay,
really nice
good.
things.
The players are the stars. They're the heroes of this, and to get them recognised, the things and talk about the way that they play in a way that other people understand. Oh, in a film called
Well, we can't, we can't just glaze over that. That we're gonna have to ask about that.
No, it amazes me every time I see England play and they don't win. Or they turn up and they haven't got a great team. It really pains me to see it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 11 of the For Korf's Sake podcast. My name is James. I'm one of your hosts, and I am joined by my fabulous co-host, the Fresh Prince of Korf Air. It's Kaylin Fitzgerald, ladies and gents.
Here I am in West Philadelphia, born and raised. Facts.
There we go. Episode 11, Caitlin, we're flying through. Let's give the listeners, let's peel back the curtain as we often do. It's not been the easiest week, has it, Caitlin? It's been a bit of a messy week.
Yes, all things technical Wi-Fi issues, but luckily we've got someone who's come to save the day for us to get an episode out hopefully this week.
Absolutely, yeah. So for those of you that don't follow our Instagram, firstly, please do. But secondly, unfortunately, we filmed with Chris West and Jack Birch, a referee and bonanza, a masterclass. Great episode, definitely one of my favorites we've filmed, and due to technical difficulties, files corrupted, Wi-Fi resolution issues, lots of different things, we're having to re-record it. So this has never happened before. So just unfortunate timing. But we have been saved. And before we bring on the guest, we do want to just quickly run through last week's results. We're aware it's been almost a week, but still think it's important to do so. So, Caitlin, first up, just a quick words on, and I guess a congratulations on Nomad's tournament in Europe, in Lisbon. A few words from yourself there.
Yeah, I think mixed bag of results, but losing on the first day, goal, I think kind of maybe dampened their spirits. However, got some good results throughout, finished strongly against the ultimate winners, the Catalan team. So lots to take away, and I'm sure it was just a really fun time out there. They always are, these kind of tournaments. Yeah,
cracking. Good to see Cardiff Raptors out there as well. I think Glasgow were there as well. So it's great to see some games from them guys. It was really enjoyable watch. And shout out to, I thought Ollie Pritchard from Nomads, young dude, was really, really good. Yeah, so just a quick, I guess, shout out to him, as I was really impressed. And then let's crack straight on with the results of last week. So I've got them up here in the National League. Let's just address the elephant in the room, I guess, first, Kaylin. Beck won Beersted versus Beck finished 19-16 to Beck. So definitely a surprise result there, I would say. Thoughts, Kaylin?
Yeah, obviously top versus bottom. Beck only coming away with 3 goals. But you yourself featured, James. So maybe a live take from yourself.
Yeah, so Caitlin wasn't there for this game, and we definitely had a few players out, unfortunately. So I was part of the lineup. Really fun game to be a part of. I always struggle to analyze the game when I'm in it, especially at this level, where, I'm just trying to focus on the job at hand. So it wasn't recorded, so I don't actually, can't really provide a deep analysis. But what I will say is I was really impressed with Beersted's relentlessness. They were 6 or 7 goals down at multiple times in the game, and they just never faltered in their attitude to try and get back, and ended up being a much closer game than I think people would have anticipated. And I think lots to take away from them. With Beck, new divisions, new lineups, something for us to figure out as we tackle the depth conversation we had at the start of the year, Caitlin. So I guess we'll see how that unfolds over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, no time like the present.
Exactly. Right, next up, we had a Kent rivalry. We had Kingfisher versus Tornadoes. So I think that's second in the league versus 4th in the league. And that finished 24-17 to Kingfisher. And I would actually say quite a surprising result in terms of the goals, Caitlin. Thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I did back Kingfisher to win this, but the margin is something that surprised me. I think they'll be really pleased with that. Both teams, I think, play in quite a similar way. not much focus on the rebound. So I actually expected the whole game to be a bit higher scoring. But yeah, Kingfisher will be really pleased with that. Looking really, really strong going into the second half of the season. That playoff spot is almost secured for them now, I think. So they'll be really, really happy.
Yeah, and on the opposite side of that as well, Tornadoes, rare to see at the beginning of the game, lots of one-shot attacks, which is absolutely not a trait of Tornadoes. Normally so great with that dynamic rebound. And I think maybe struggled to get going, which then, credit to Kingfisher for continuously just keeping the lead, but definitely a challenge for Tornadoes. And I'm sure the reverse fixtures and the other fixtures throughout the league for them are going to be very important as they've played the top 4 teams and they've got Trojans, I think, which got postponed. So they've still got that first game to play, which will be exciting. And then on to a game towards the lower half of the table. So Bromley played Norwich Knights, and that finished 24-25. So Norwich came away with the win by 1 goal. A 49-goal game. Fantastic return. Caitlin, that's uploaded online as well. Thoughts on that game?
Yeah, an enjoyable watch, obviously, on Ross Carr-Taylor's YouTube channel, so definitely have a look at that. Knights without Luke Coit-McKenzie, which is always going to lead to them scoring less goals. He's obviously a very important player for them. What I will say is that Bromley, I feel like they're building something great there, and they are all it's going to take for them is one win over one of these teams, whether it be a Knights or a Bristol. They got close to Bristol the other week. That could really kind of set them off on an upward trajectory. It's a great group. We've seen lots of goals from all their girls and the boys obviously being very effective too. I just think they just got that once they get that one win, that will really kickstart things for them. So I hope they're not too disheartened by this loss.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, Norwich always travel a long way to get to these London games. There's always a bit of an embedding period to them. You're right. No Luke Coit-McKenzie definitely would have made a difference. But really impressively, yeah, I would agree with you on Bromley. Neela Brennan was on last week talking about how that Trojans dynasty had this level of insatiable confidence and belief in themselves. And she mentioned that, since Beck over the last couple of years have really built that. I think you're right. Once they get one win, they're going to be in a similar position where that belief is going to grow and then they're going to become a real problem because that team's incredibly young and has got a lot of space to turn into something exceptional. So, yeah, really exciting times for Bromley. I know they'll be disappointed not to pick up a result from that game, but lots of positives to take away. And then finally, the final game of the week, definitely a shock in my mind for sure. We had Trojans versus Bristol Thunder. So in our league tables at the beginning of the season, this is second versus third as we'd put it. And it came away with a Trojans win of 30-16 to Bristol Thunder. Yeah, Caitlin, thoughts on that?
Yes, Trojans proving to be very impressive. Particularly want to, again, highlight their girls. Heather played in this game. I think it's her first National League start this season. Scored a lot of goals. But also Neve Butterworth, again, coming up with, I think, 5 or 6 goals from all over the pitch. And then you had down the other end, Kat Brooks and Hannah Lawal, which is just a dynamic duo that we haven't often gotten to see. But also the Trojans boys really kind of accepting their roles. Sam Brooks obviously can still shoot, still scores amazing goals, but he's really become a pivotal kind of player in making that whole division with Neve, Heather, Luis work. So yeah, the boys really playing effectively to get the best out of the girls. So I think Bristol got a little bit blown away in the end by an impressive Trojans team.
Yeah, 100% agreed. I think you said it on the previous recording of this podcast. I think Caitlin referred to it as girls in charge. And that game really was, certainly for a half of that game, 100% was girls in charge. Those Trojans girls were phenomenal. Yeah, Bristol won't be happy with that result. They'll obviously have an opportunity on the reverse fixture to kind of right that wrong. But that was a very dominant performance. I believe Bristol were missing Kira Wilcox, which again, we know is definitely one of their, more dangerous girls and definitely would have made a difference. But that 14 goals is still a significant deficit. So I'm sure that John Bagnall, John Tyre will be going away from that, figuring out coaching-wise how they're going to adjust next time round and how they're going to show a different side to themselves. Would personally love to see the Leo Comerford, Luis Vargas matchup. I think they're two players that could really cancel each other out or potentially have great games. And that leaves us, Caitlin, with a really fun situation for the league table. We are going to record a podcast in the new year, ready to come out early doors in the new year, where we'll look at the league table. We're going to reanalyze where we started and where we're kind of at now for the mid-table. But it is dead close in that kind of 2nd through 6th placings are incredibly close. It's made the season phenomenally interesting. And yeah, very excited for what's about to come in the second half of the season. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think all to play for, pretty much. all over the table. So yeah, excited for doing that review as well and see how wrong my predictions were.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be good. But anyway, Caitlin, no time like now. Let's finish up with the league and let's get straight on to our savior, our guest, our Christmas miracle, if you will, Caitlin. And shall I start the intro into this individual, Caitlin? Do you reckon?
I am very intrigued as to what you've come up with for this one.
Let's see how correct it is, as we know that there is a legacy of misinformation on this podcast, but it's let's crack straight on. So folks, this is very much a privilege, and when me and Caitlin have spoken multiple times on the podcast about influences within Korfball, there is arguably very few people that have the influence that this individual has. It is absolutely incredible that he's decided to join us. Undeniably the voice of English Korfball, but also more importantly the voice of Korfball in general. A generational voice, incredible, an international superstar, and boy, are we excited. So let's reel off some accomplishments, shall we, Caitlin?
Oh, I can't wait.
Has been playing the sport for almost 40 years, has played in the top leagues of Portugal, Australia, and of course, the English Korfball League as well. He won the English Korfball League with Voltrix in the 1989-90 season. He is also, and perhaps more impressively, part of the iconic England squad that won a bronze medal at the World Korfball Championships in 1999. He founded the University of Birmingham Korfball Club, which has gone on to achieve many, many things, which is just incredible. Started his career, I believe, at the University of Brighton. Shout out, let's go. So some similarities there. However, aside from all of these incredible accomplishments as a player, he is without doubt incredibly well known for being the voice and for his commentary, having commentated on almost every major Korfball final since 1996. So will be almost a 30-year anniversary next year, if my statistics are correct based on what I'm reading. So
no, there was no commentary. First commentary was 2006.
That was on English Korfball. Look, this is
English Korfball. Okay, yeah, international. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Look, maybe I don't think so. Did we have videos back then?
Yeah, good point. Well, okay, 20-year anniversary, Tom. We'll go with 20-year anniversary.
Well, actually, it's my 20th anniversary of international Korfball, and I started that the year before I did the English. So yeah,
there we go. We'll call it 20 years, right? We won't edit that. We're definitely not editing that, but we'll call it 20 years. But he's dropping his standards, these iconic, commentary standards, to come and join this podcast. And we are very grateful that he's agreed to come and waffle with us for the next hour. A real fall from grace from Tom here. But let's have some fun. It's an immense privilege to welcome a true legend of Korfball, a man that has more sayings than anybody else in this sport. The man, the myth, the legend. Ladies and gents, Tom Brady's on the podcast.
Yes.
Hi, James. Hi, Caitlin. Love what you're doing. Love the podcast. Keep up the good work. Thanks for the introduction. Now, what do you want to know? Look, let's talk some Korfball.
Perfect. I was just thinking, how do you introduce the man that needs no introduction? Honestly, everyone, as soon as you hear that voice, you know.
Well, you missed Ireland. I founded Ireland, coached Ireland, played for Ireland for a few years as well, which shout out to the Irish. That was a big part of
You founded Ireland?
Well, the Irish Korfball Association. They were going to play a Commonwealth Games. Like, it was the first one. South Africa were coming. And I was down at the Croydon tournament, and Nora Goodridge come up to me and she goes, "Hey, Tommy, how come we're not in that one?" And I was explaining. I said, "Nora, we fought for our independence. Like they don't let us in there." She's going, "Oh, we should be in that." And it kind of started me out. I'm fully Irish. Like, I was born in England, but and I knew there was lots of Irish in the league. We don't even talked about it. We just knew. So we put a team together, and I think that's probably 2006. I don't know what year it was, but yeah, that was one of the best things I've ever done in Korfball. Starting that off, and every time I see him go out to a tournament, it makes me really proud. Honestly, I'm so chuffed about it. My dad would have, he's dead, but he would have gone, "Tom, all those things you did, you started Ireland Korfball, and it's still going strong."
No, incredible. And obviously, the Irish team have such a great reputation, both kind of domestically and internationally. Not just with the national anthem being the best one, but and they've had some good results over the years. So as a proud Irish passport holder too, I am always very glad to see Ireland do well.
Half the league is Irish.
Yeah,
Brennan made the wrong choice going to England.
I
The
know.
Brookses all could have played for Ireland. But that
Yeah,
was
what a
one of our
team.
dilemmas in the beginning of Ireland, was there were a lot of kind of really talented people that were definitely Irish, but they had an England pathway
Yeah.
for like development as an international. And you've got to let them take that. But when you're ready to come to Ireland, then we ended up with lots of great players. There's lots of really fantastic players that played for Ireland over the years.
Yeah.
So coming out of the league.
Yeah. And just that being our brief advert for Irish Korfball, an amazing achievement, Tom. But we also want to go back to your Korf beginnings, of course, more recently known as a commentator. But as James mentioned, University of Brighton was where you found the game. Tell us a little bit more about that.
It was called Brighton Poly then, and there was a girl from Mitcham was coming down. She was going to start a club, but she didn't really have the presence to coach it. So she got in some London coaches, came down, and I loved it. Like right from the very beginning, I thought, wow, this is really good. But it wasn't until we went to a tournament in the Netherlands in the first term. We went out to a tournament because we had some London people said, this is what you should do when you start a club. We went out and played a tournament, and I've loved it ever since then. That trip in the Netherlands, I love, and I've been like 50 times since, was a big part of my passion for the game. And I think that's something that a lot of clubs I'd encourage, like, go out to Ireland.
That must be
take your beginners out. So then,
quite the baptism of fire.
Yeah, I was there for a couple of years, but the scene at that stage in the late 80s for Corphball was all around London, a little bit in Kent. So I moved to London and took Max Buttinger's spare room for a couple of years to play for Voltrix. I was that crazy about Corphball. I moved specifically to play Corphball in London and play National League.
Incredible.
That's amazing.
More people come and do that, please. We're always recruiting at Bet Korfball Club.
Well, it's like it's a bit different now. There's lots of places that you can go. Beck, get enough recruits. Don't you complain. Any spare player who's worth his salt is thinking about where can I go? Well, can I get into Beck? But yeah, so like I was in London Corphball for a long time, and then I kind of like got in the England team, went to World Games, and that changes your mind as well because Kate's been to a lot of international tournaments, and it's just incredible. What an experience! A roller coaster of ups and downs, but just really. So I got into international Korfball and just loved it, and that passion I hope still comes through today every time I do a game. And that I remember my first tournament, which was like first big one was the World Game. I kind of like got drunk with my mates and we decided to go traveling, and then I went traveling for a few years. Get a season in Portugal, season in Australia. But then eventually when I came back, I kind of like went back into National League. And I really believe in National League as part of the whole growth and development of what we do in Korfball. I see so much grassroots Korfball. I've coached so many beginners and it's all fantastic. It's all really necessary. But having a strong top end that people look up to, having some role models that people recognize as players, I think that's a really important part of the development of any sport. And that's kind of like part of what I've enjoyed about being able to do with commentary, in particular at the National League finals for the last, 15 years or so, is try and make the players are the stars. They're the heroes of this, and to get them recognized, and talk about the way that they play in a way that other people understand. Oh, I get what you're doing now. So yeah, I'm so pleased to see National League still going strong. I'm really glad we broke that 10-year, 11, 12-year streak of Trojans, even though I loved every final and every goal they scored in every final of that. But it's good to see that now it's looking healthy at the top. And I'm glad to see Nomads are up there fighting hard, and Thunder, and loving Thunder at the moment.
Yeah, no, I agree that the league this year is particularly exciting. We've said on the podcast, but I also think that's a really important point about the commentary and highlighting these players and giving the viewer something to aspire to. I definitely have found that myself. Feeling in awe, watching someone and you highlighting what they're doing and all those things, and also commentating some of my many heartbreaks over the years in those finals. But in terms of actual,
I've commentated on you a few times. I hope I was tender.
No, you boosted my ego so many times, Tom. Honestly, it's just a really nice things. I'm like, wow.
Beck needed it for a few years. They needed our sympathy, needed building up because we wanted them to win. Once we let Trojans have their first 5 years, okay, look, right now I'm thoroughly in the camp of like someone else should win this. Yeah, you guys carried the flag for a long time, and I'm really glad you got there in the end.
Yeah, try again. You probably will eventually succeed. There's a lot, obviously, that you've covered there in terms of playing over in Portugal, Australia, something I didn't know before this. That's really cool. Are there any people in particular that were influential in your playing career?
I would say my first Korfball mentor was Max Buttinger. He crazy dude. And he was crazy when he was young. Like, I don't know, I assume he's still crazy now. I don't see him that often. But really passionate. He got me coaching jobs, you know, like, so like he would always be sending me out coaching. I was carrying posts for him every weekend, and I don't know what for about 2 years. But as a player, he made me a lot better. He used to experiment with my shot, like, and back in the days when none of us could really shoot that well, and so I would say he got me into it and the passion he showed, but also like he used the Corphball intellect. The guy was a heavyweight Korfballer when he was younger. So yeah, he would, let's say, would be my first mentor when it comes to that. But there's been, you know, like every team you're in, Kevin, you know that you kind of, everyone around you kind of feeds into and makes you part of who you are and the play that the way you are. I've been lucky to play with some great players, and you mentioned the 99 squad. Really, really just so strong. Korfball in general's got a lot better since then, so I don't know how that 99 squad would do like against the current England squad. I think they're probably going to get a hammering for sure, because Korfball's better. England Korfballers are better. Everybody's fitter. But for the time and the place, that was just, you know, I was part of a great squad. And yeah, I learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm really, really pleased to hear you mention Max Buttinger. I think that name and the Buttinger name has come up a number of times on the podcast over the last sort of 10, 11 episodes. Obviously an immensely influential family to the growth of Korfball throughout the UK. And I'm just really pleased to hear somebody mention it again. And I think just a shout out for some of the listeners that me and Caitlin will definitely work on the back end to try and get some of those, like a Buttinger name on, to come and talk about the legacy in Korfball, right? Because they are just one of the most influential families. And still today, Luca, shout out, who's playing for Trojans and is one of their, you know, starting boys, incredible player. But Max, yeah, I've heard so many incredible things. So yeah, definitely need to get them on, don't we, Caitlin?
And shout out to Big Phil over there in Norwich. There's a whole region of Korfball that would not exist without him buying posts himself and driving around and driving kids around for 10 years until it got self-sustaining. So yeah, the Buttinger family, I think, have been quite important to English Korfball.
100%. And you also mentioned there that historic, legendary team of 1999. I was going to ask you about your highlights of your playing career, but maybe that bronze medal win might be it. But yeah, I'd love to hear some highlights from the playing side of things for yourself.
I was on the bench for the final, which is kind of like takes it away from, let's say, being the like pinnacle of your playing career, but to be part of a squad like that. And I had been captain of the squad and I got injured, and I then became assistant coach, and then I got back into the squad. There wasn't like any weak players in the squad, but we had some, like the boys were Dave Sinnott, Dave Buckland, Rob Williams, and Steve Jones. I think as four as good a boys as ever kind of like set on the pitch together, all of them legends. And we had Corinne Buckland, who was like a crazy, probably the best girl ever played like for England. I think maybe Sam Wells, probably Janine Collier, and maybe Sada Heneen. The girls were great, and we were very seasoned. And yeah, like the feeling that you get from a bronze medal, like it was just, it was just incredible. It was great being out there. Playing career, winning National League. Voltrix was my first love. You know, like when I moved to London, I played for Voltrix for maybe 3 years, 4 years or something. And we were really horrible people, horrible to everyone else, horrible to each other. But we just loved playing Corphball, and we loved just stirring things up. And like to win National League with that team and then go Europa Cup was great. Once again, the international tournament is always the add-on. Like you win National League and then you get to go to Europa Cup or Corphball Champions League now, and there's a couple more tournaments that they can go to. That builds a squad when you go out as a group of people to take on the enemy, and it's all everyone's against you. That's why you play in a team, and it's I miss that now. I'm not a player, but I try and get some of it back through some of the other stuff.
That feeling I think really can't be replicated. For me, probably my favourite moment is Beck's first Europa Shield win, just because that was first time we qualified for Europe, and actually to go and win in a final was good. But something about that that the international people you meet from other countries, being in the most competitive environment in the sport that you love, is really one of the highlights, I would say. But just there's so much there we could spend a whole podcast on. That's what a 99, Corinne Buckland. I wish there was footage of Corinne playing, honestly. It would be unreal. But from playing, you've obviously... Yeah.
Feisty, steely, I would say, in her temperament. Yeah, she was great. But, we all move on. Would our modern girls beat her? Maybe, maybe not. But she had a mentality that would be hard to beat.
Crazy. I played against Rob Williams at the weekend. It's just mad, isn't it? Like, you're talking about like 1999 or whatever, and it's like Steve Jones obviously reffing. You look at it, like all of those players and that entire squad just seems so influential in the game today. It's incredible to see, and I wish there was footage and stuff. Like, I wish there was a way of being able to go back and watch those things, because I can imagine it'd be incredible to see, them in their prime playing. And
and I had a great afro.
Yes.
I had the best haircut in the whole tournament as well. Like I wish there was more media from that. They actually filmed it, made a short film of it, and then threw everything else away. It was what I heard later.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. You'll just have to imagine how good we were.
Yeah. Not like what we have now, which
no
hiding
tournaments.
Yeah,
how many games of yours are on video, Caitlin? Like there's 100 plus.
Yeah.
Like I've probably commentated on like 30 of them or something, but they're there. Like you can't argue.
But yeah, as I say, like now all the major international tournaments are all recorded, really high quality production. Most of those with commentary, and a lot of those featuring yourself. And I think it's fair to say that definitely from in England, you are the first kind of person to verge into commentary and become so successful and do a lot of ITF games as well as domestic stuff. How did you get into commentary? I'd really love to know, how it all came about for you.
2006, I assume I was living in London playing National League, and we had a korfball.com forum, which
shout out.
People know who that is, then look, we used to argue about Corphball on there the whole time.
Quality.
Well, they'd done a test stream. The ICAV had done a test stream, and I think it was okay, but they didn't have they wanted an English person on commentary. And they asked the moderator of korfball.com, and he said, Tom Brady, because I must have been posting lots of really intelligent stuff on there. And so it was going to be a competition out in Belgium. Sorry, not in Belgium, in Hungary, 2006 European Championship.
Yeah.
I was collaborating a lot of stuff with Nick Wilkins. I was coaching him, and we were in a juggling club together, and he did a lot of filming stuff. And I'd just seen a film called...
Whoa, Tom. We can't just glaze over that. That we're gonna have to ask about that. Did you just
the juggling
say
thing?
The you and
if I was to tell you at the end of this story, me and Nick did the halftime show at the European Championship as a juggling act, you could not call me a liar, because that is on video. That is on YouTube. Anyway, I just watched this basketball documentary called Hoop Dreams, very famous Oscar-worthy thing about growing up in the hood and then trying to make it to the NBA. And I was full of these passionate ideas, thinking about tournaments, such a beautiful thing, so many stories, so much pain, so much joy at the tournament. And I was thinking maybe I'll make a documentary or something. So I called Nick up and I said, hey, Nick, come on out. So he said, great, look, let's make a documentary. So he came out for the week. And then the first kind of interview we did, we just slipped into doing sports stuff. All the documentary stuff was finished, but we just started interviewing athletes in a kind of more straight sports way. And we loved it. And it was fantastic. And then I commentated on the last 2 days solo, but I was so excited to do it, believe me. And then I did 4 games in semi-finals day and 4 games on the final day. Went fantastic. Everybody loved it. And I absolutely loved it. But yeah, and we noticed there was no halftime show. So me and Nick had a juggling act, and we bootlegged our way in. We got a referee to join in this skit that we were going to do, and we did it on the pitch at halftime at the European Championship.
I need to find the footage of that.
Yeah, look, you look at juggling, Corphball, you're probably going to find it. And ever since then, they've actually paid people to go and do it. So obviously they realised their mistake. Don't leave that bit of the pitch empty, or someone's gonna get on and do something. So to then, really significantly, they proved that they could do it. It was a young Czech team. This is before YouTube Live. I mean, I think YouTube was just really in its infancy anyway. But certainly you couldn't stream from anywhere. But they had a Czech team of geeks that would do it. And then in 2007, I helped build a team with Nick Wilkins, Ian Clark, Mario Vanelgamer, and we went and did about 40 games from the 2007 World Championships. We streamed them all live, and I commentated about 40 as a team and putting highlights out. Fantastic, really, really good. And then since then, I had to fight to get into stuff, like, because they don't consider commentary. Like, commentary is the last thing that gets known. And to the extent that in 2015, there was nothing arranged for the World Championship in Belgium.
Yeah.
Me and Nick and a couple of other mates, we got Airbnb by where Belgium were playing Taipei. We paid to go in. Like, there was nothing, we paid to go in, like, got ourselves plugged into the commentary and just did the commentary, and then we did a few from that. It was really good, but like very little stuff was arranged. Like stuff like the England gig, doing the England finals, that'll all be like Nick going, "Oh, okay, I'm prepared to film it." I'm going, "Okay, great, I'll commentate it." He always did the crap job. But like, so it's people actually going down individually saying, "I'm going to do this," and then would you commentate on it, or I'm going working with them to commentary. So yeah, so with the England stuff, really, it's about turning up every year, trying to find someone with a camera, trying to find something to plug in, and then just hoping that it all works out. But over the last few years, we got a lot more professional, yeah, to a certain extent.
Wow, I love that whole story. Is incredible. Also, a quick shout out, that Belgium Taipei game from 2015 is a quality watch.
Look, it's my favourite game to commentate, I think, because, and that's the reason I kind of was in my mind thinking about it. It was in a small hall full of Belgians screaming.
Yeah, it was packed.
Taipei had a chance. They had a chance at it, and then the great Ricky Wu went in. There, some of the great players playing for them at that time just fell short. But me and Nick were on the sideline, just belting it out, really just enjoying like this great game. And that's kind of like what commentary is. Go with your mates, stand on the side, talk about the game, hang up the mic, and then home you go. But yeah, I had to make a lot of gigs, like, rather than you have them kind of like, suddenly appear. But over the last few years, the IKF has really got its act together with the web streaming, as you said, Caitlin. So I get a lot of gigs out of that, which is great. I enjoy that. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. No, it's so admirable that, it all kind of driven by just pure passion and love for the sport, and just identifying that, well, no one's doing it. I can just go and do that. And the persistence. And I know we're all very grateful for it now, because a game is much better when there's commentary on it, for sure. 100%.
Absolutely, for sure. I agree, but yeah, it is admirable. But just like you're doing this for the fun of it, like, because you want to do it. And everything that I've done, I've always done for the fun of it. And I need thanking, look, I've done it because I wanted to do that part of the job, and I find it fun. And just like everyone else, from the jury to the refs and then to the players, we all play a part in the game.
Yeah.
It helps it grow though, doesn't it? Like, so it's such a significant part, as you were saying, of the consumer experience, right? To be able to tune in, especially at the lower level of the game, coming at it, starting Korfball in, what was it, like 2016 or whatever I did at uni, and then coming out of uni, having someone else to listen to go through kind of basic analysis, etc. is great. And it's amazing to see how far along it has come and how many games now there are available for commentary. But Tom, I think what we definitely love to hear about as well, we spoke to Jess briefly about it, but would love to understand, obviously the Copperbox, I'm assuming, has been a kind of a pinnacle of commentary in a professional sense, if you will, in terms of the BBC, being on the BBC, etc. Talk to us a little bit about that. Were you involved in the kind of process of how the commentary came about with that? Like, what was that process like for you?
Well, me and Jess have been doing it for years anyway, so we were always going to do it in some shape or form. And the England Korfball had some money from a sponsorship, so they got in the #1 webcasting team in the world from PKSA. Like, these are great. I mean, they paid them expensive. It wasn't like expensive, but they had like a brilliant webcasting team. And then they leveraged that to go to, I think, the BBC and say, they somehow connected with the BBC. And I think I found out in like the week before that, okay, we're going on iPlayer. But it didn't really matter to me. So they said, okay, well, all right, then we're going to fill 2 days. What are we going to do? And yeah, in some ways, it's the pinnacle of, like, let's say, professionalism, commentary that I've done. But England Korfball really stepped up. Honestly, the place looked beautiful.
Yeah.
Everybody that, because we integrated the BBC in with us, everybody that kind of like was public facing did an incredible job. Steph Watson came down and she's doing like the anchoring with me and Jess. Perfect. Like everybody, because we watched the BBC so much, we knew exactly what they wanted, just like this broadcast, and we all knew the role that we were going to play and we fit into it. And Andrew Hall did it as well. But yeah, the quality and the challenge of doing it was really hard. But then the players, we did some little skits, like the Turner sisters. I don't know if you remember, against sister. The players responded perfectly. They're going to go, okay, what is it? Well, can you do it? Check your coach. Great. Yes, we got you for an hour. Okay, what do you want? And just explain what you want, and they just go and do it. That was really good, and all the players that were part of interviews and everything, I thought just looked brilliant. And really, we've never looked so good as that, but we know we got that in us. We got these big weekends and we can do it. And it wouldn't mean anything unless the play was fantastic, and the play really, we've been blessed at the England final over the years. So many great games, and that was just another day of 2 days of great games. And yeah, I'm really glad that I was there. Like, fun, absolute fun to do that.
Yeah. It is crazy when you think about how many of those finals have been decided by a goal. It is great. And also, that promo league, one of the promo league finals in the Copperbox Library, Ollie Cusack with that last, I know that's super memorable for me as well. Some really great games there.
That clip where they put Titanic music just as he scores the goal, like, I don't know if you guys have seen that social clip where they put the Titanic music behind it. Yeah, incredible. There was all of those games. Really credit to Beck and Trojans and Tornadoes as well, for one of them as well, who just lived up to the hype of the final and just making it incredible. As Caitlin said, she tried, and eventually got there.
And eventually they attracted like more. Joe Bedford came along.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. And then, okay, at least Caitlin was there from the beginning. Dav was there from the beginning. No, I'm not going to take it away, because I played with Beck for 10 years. I coached Beck for many years, and so I love Beck. I was so pleased to see them do it. And I thought Trojans took it with grace. The run is over. There was an arguable decision. I don't know if you remember, like in the dying attack, there was a time wasting, which was a question mark. Trojans,
we've been told.
Go on.
Passive play is the correct term
play.
there.
And actually, I think, I have had the referee. I have discussed this. I was going to say confronted. Well, yes, I have confronted the refs about this. And they were going, well, it was within their rights to do it. And I said, well, look, just because you can do it doesn't mean that you have to do it. Look, there was no, whatever.
We take it.
And I don't normally criticise referees, but I'm not on my stream, so I'm on your stream. So, but I thought Trojans took it with grace, and then Beck stepped up and proved that they're not just like one season, and they only wanted to chase the cup. So it looks like they want to be there. I think having a coach like John Denton, I think makes a big difference. I love John Denton, like his style, and I think that he's obviously been a big part of that, but like all your players as well. Look, it's a long time a season. People think you're going to win, or you're thinking they get top 4. You got to go out there every week and do it. And good to see him continuing to do it.
Yeah. Love that love. Tom, before we move on to just having a few little games, because Caitlin's got some listener questions as well. So I guess for the listeners, me and Caitlin are going to go and take on the challenge of commentating, but we'll do that specific content stuff. We'll do it as its whole own piece. But I wanted to take some time to ask, we mentioned on the podcast with Jess that we thought Lizzie Ty had come in and she commentated on the semi-final game, I believe, with yourself. And I thought just did an outstanding job, and what a natural she was. And then Leon Woodcock as well has done some of, I believe it was the European games in 2024. And again, I was really impressed with Liam. Is there other than them two, I don't know if you've heard other people commentate, or if you want to just say some words on upcoming commentators.
It's easy to commentate. If you're into sports and you watch the BBC a lot, or Sky News, and you like Korfball, you can talk about Korfball and you can do it. There is like some specific duties for being a play-by-play commentator where you're talking more than would be natural, like with your friend in the crowd, but you kind of can get over that. Everyone who went there is fantastic. I don't think I've come across a UK Irish person that can't do it. If they put themselves up for it, I'm like, okay, yeah, do it. Like, okay, this is what I'm doing, this is what you're doing, like, and they do their bit. Like, loads of us are good at it. Charlie, like, as soon as Charlie Vogel, as soon as he gets less busy, he'll do more commentating, I'm sure, and he'd be fantastic. He's already a great commentator. So, yeah, I think you two would be naturals. You enjoy the game, you've got like a nice energy and rhythm between you, but you're interested in the game. Talk about the game. That's what it, like, you like the players. You like players. That's the start there, because you're looking and talking about players for 60 minutes. And yeah, so look, I look forward to seeing where it goes.
Yeah, some great other people mentioned there as well. Steph Watson's done some commentary too. It was great when she stepped in. But Tom, your commentary stands out in particular for something that I've coined as Bradyisms. I don't know if you're aware that you have some certain phrases that you say quite frequently, and I've personally adopted "too big, too strong" into my everyday life, and I say it at training literally all the time. But I just wanted to ask you, like, how you. Were you aware that you were saying these things? So, like, too big, too strong, bobble off the top, and mountain. Was these something you've kind of developed over the years?
It's good to hear it's coming back around. Yeah, there was a time when, like, Carla Bennett come up to me. She said, like, you know that we play bingo, like, to your commentary. Yeah, they call it Brady bingo, and then they put in the list of the words and they kind of tick it off. That made me change a little bit. I feel every now and again I'll treat you to a bubble off the top, but I do
Yeah.
a lot. Yes, because I like it. And I commentate for what I like, the way I feel, the things I want to say at that time. And, so I've done, like, I don't know, 400 or 500 games. And look, yeah, it's hard not to repeat yourself. But there's some moments that I just got to reach in that locker. One of my old favourites, just to kind of lay it on. And I'm trying to do it every game. Like, I'll go and get an old one. In fact, actually, yeah, now a lot of the YouTube transcripts are available on some of these videos. Maybe I might go do like a search and see what I do too much. Yeah, I try not to do it too much. I try and keep it fresh for myself a little bit. But people say it back to me. Jess likes to say a few of those back to me, just with a little smile on her face. As you
No, incredible. Yeah, we love them. It's definitely a favourite of mine. Nice extension. That's the number one. You're not that good.
Well, I like that in general with a shot, for sure.
Yeah.
I always love as well. Give him a little shout out. There's almost an energy that when Stewie Ironmonger comes on the court, when you're commentating, where you get so excited that Stu's on the court, and you can just tell that that's like a palpable excitement that you're obviously commentating on a mate, right?
I love Stewie. I played with him, and like, I played with his mum actually for like a long time. So I knew him as a kid. I used to look after him by the side of the pitch if he was sub. Then Stewie was there, and he wanted you to kick a football around with him. So I've known him for a long time, and I know how much he loves Beck and how much he loves the Korf, and how he kind of sticks at it. And look, I don't know how old he is, whatever, but he's still just fighting, just getting that team. And yeah, so look, he's the epitome of a great club player. Beck, one of the people that I'd go, yeah, he's the real true Beck person. And you're all true Beck people, but like, I admire for what he is. I enjoy it when he gets on. I want to see it.
Yeah.
He smiles. And when players smile, it makes me smile. Like, I like to see happy players. I like to see sad players as well. But like, I want to see some. I like when players cry. That's great. When Stewie smiles, it makes me smile.
He's told me a few stories, Tom, about when you two have been playing together. And I don't know. I guess we'll see if we keep it in there. But he said that. He says that you'll have little conversations with the player you're playing on the court, or you'll be talking to Stu whilst you're playing. Oh, Stu, the guy I'm playing against, his shot's not dropping today. Just saying it out loud, just getting in the other players' heads.
Yep. Just can't stop talking about Courtball even when I'm playing. Definitely when I'm playing, and it's amazing somehow with maybe it was my eloquence. Was that I never got a yellow card, although I've given some refs times, but I've never been violent. But like, in terms of speaking to the ref, understanding where to take it, understanding just the right line of nuance to put into what I'm saying. But yeah, I kind of, like, it's easy to do that when you're young and fit and jump around. And like, I don't tend to do it, and I don't play anymore. But I didn't do it towards the end of my career. I kept my mouth shut pretty much. But yeah, I did enjoy like a little G up between players. That's what I like to see on the pitch. Really, international level, they're always doing it. Let me tell you about my favorite like G up that a player did on me that got reversed on him. I was playing for Ireland at 2010 European Championship, and we were playing against Slovakia, and Ireland were playing out of our skins. Like, really, we got no pedigree coming into this, but we are just making it up as we go along, and we're fighting. And then we were going to win, and then we got level, and then they scored this goal like with 20 seconds to go. And the player, Slovakian player, Peter Busic, turns around and goes in my face. Yeah, like that. It goes right in my face like that. I'm going, yeah, okay, it's not over yet. And then ball comes round, Dinos runs around, drops it off the back. I score, like almost the back line, bang, we're into goal now. I didn't see him as we were going off, but as we're coming back on the pitch, I kind of found him out and I said, I told you it wasn't fucking over. And then we won the game, like Dinos scored the goal. But yeah, look, he deserved it and he took it. Like, he's actually like a very famous ref. But
yeah, good character in the game.
Happens on the pitch. Like, it's it's a bit of fun. I try not to be too nasty, although like, there's a few players I'm sure felt the sharp end of my tongue that I regret, shall we say?
No, it's all part of it, isn't it? And I always say a true shithouse, right? A true shit talker will also talk shit when they're losing, right? That's the marker of somebody that's committed to the cause, right? There's no, it doesn't matter if you're winning or losing, it's just in there, right? But yeah, appreciate that, Tom. And then Caitlin, I'll kind of pass over to you. We've had some listener questions, right? So we can go through them one by one. I've got some of them up here as well. But do you want to kick us off? Because we've had a fair few, haven't we? Tom's a popular man in the community.
Yes. I will start with some commentary-based ones. Do you have a favourite specific game you've ever commentated?
A favourite specific game I've commentated? I would say it would be the Taipei Belgian game in 2015, or perhaps the final of that in 2015. I'd never seen a stadium look so good. The King of Belgium was there. They did all this picture. I almost wanted to cry. It looked so beautiful, and it was just ram-packed. Yeah, being like the occasion quite often outweighs the game. Like, that game wasn't a great game. The Belgians did okay. They hung into it. But yeah, but for the actual like game would have been that Taipei Belgian game 2015. But I like all games, really.
Yeah. That Lotto Arena, was spectacular, that final.
No, absolutely. I want you to name your top 3 man mountains.
Man mountains. Okay. Yeah. Look, Dave Sinnott, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have it anyone else, really, is going to like, you haven't seen me, you don't know. Believe me, I was big and I was strong. Casey's too big, too strong. No, but I could jump. So I could jump and get like that into the Korf. I could get all my fingers up into the Korf. I could really jump quite high. So okay. So I've done it, put myself in there. English Korfball, Andrew Hall and sorry, what's the guy from Norwich Knights? Big guy.
Josh Rowe.
Josh Rowe.
Josh Rowe, sorry, Josh. I didn't play him until a little bit later, towards the end of my career, but I still thought I had a little bit of strength. Just no movement from him. Absolutely no movement. I didn't enjoy the experience at all. Like, I mean, what do you mean, like playing against bigger, stronger players? Like, it's just, I didn't enjoy that. And so credit to him for sure. Dave Sinnott, number 1 as a player, though, out of those lot.
Yeah. Yeah. The next question submitted, I'll just say because I remember that she sent it, fellow commentator Lizzie Ty. She said, do you commentate in your head when you're watching games that you're not actually commentating on?
I think in part ways that I do, but not as much. Like, you're a lot more verbose kind of when you commentate. I did a game a couple of weeks ago with a young Birmingham City player, Emma Green. And she was fantastic, but she was saying at the end, she's like, just like watching the game, but better. And like, because you watch it more intensely than you would. Like, it's hard to spectate games after you've been a commentator, because like your attention is not 100% on the game when you spectate. But yeah, in little ways. But general, if I'm watching a game, I've probably got someone beside me, and we probably have a nudge and a comment about like what happened there.
Yeah, love that. Yeah, I think everybody does it a little bit, don't they? A little bit. It's quite natural, isn't it? But
Yeah, like we all want to talk about good things, and I like to talk about good things, and
yeah.
yeah, there's not enough good games around. That you've got to enjoy the good games that are there when you get a good game.
For sure. And the last two questions, Tom, I'd say are actually pretty. I'm going to combine them into one, right? So like a two-prong part, right? Because I think they closely correlate. So number one is from one of our listeners is, why do you think England/GB Korfball has been struggling internationally recently? And then I'm going to leverage that. And the second part of that question is, what do you think the best way to grow the sport is? Because I think they probably correlate, right? But yeah, I guess firstly, why do you think England internationally we've been struggling recently?
The short and quickest answer is that the rest have got better quicker than we've been getting better. There is no standing still in international korfball. Players are getting fitter, the game is getting faster, and teams of 10 years ago wouldn't cut it today. Like I say, that bronze medal team in 99, they ain't going to be winning no medals now. Because the other team, everybody's moved on. Well, we'd have to train differently, or we'd have to been different. It amazes me every time I see England play and they don't win. Or they turn up and they haven't got a great team. It really pains me to see it, and I try not to let that come across on commentary. But the quality of the finals, like every year I go down there and I see Corphball, which is just so incredible. And it's not just because the defending's not great. The defending's okay, but there is so much great things happen when you get a club together and they play together. We are not getting that right. The transition from club to country for the right players, and not giving them maybe enough time together in order to prepare for tournaments like that. And so much of it comes down to cost. Look, when it's a national team and everyone has to pay to go to training and give up that time, and it's a really hard thing to arrange. I think maybe the other teams are training more. And I spoke to Poland; they've got a lot less players to choose from, but they're a lot more local. And I think Poland is an example. There's others where they're all in one city and they all kind of can train a lot and be together, and they turn up really unified. When I see England teams and squads come out, it takes them a day or two to really kind of almost, if not get each other's names, but to really start to understand kind of like where the strengths are going to be in that. Maybe more warm-up games could be part of that, or I don't know. And somehow persuading Ross Carr-Taylor to become coach, because he's been passed over and he doesn't want to do it. But eventually ending up with Ross Carr-Taylor, who will draw out a lot of good players and will hopefully impose a great style on England. But when it comes down to it, when I'm commentating, I feel bad for England, but I don't cry like they do, because they cry. Look, they pay all this money to go out, so I don't want to criticise anyone in England, because they just paid all this money. They trained so hard to come to this moment, and it hasn't quite worked, and they've been up against a good team. I'm not going to say, look, you sit on the sideline saying you should have done this, you should have done that, because I don't really know. But I know that players are given more time together, than quite often they do get better. Then look, get Ross Carr-Taylor. I don't know who is in coach at the moment. I don't care, but eventually when they go, Ross Carr-Taylor should do it. In terms of the second part of your question about the future of Corphball and the growth of Corphball, I worry a lot less about that than I did when I was your age. Well, I want Corphball to be bigger and I want this to happen. Because it didn't really happen. It's about the same size that it was, or maybe a bit bigger, or maybe a little bit smaller. My focus and my thoughts and focus on the things that you do and make them better and make them more fun. You're never going to change the world and suddenly make Korfball a mass spectator sport. And the statistic that I quote from, I think it was a few years ago now, but outside of Olympic year, only 2% of national UK media sports coverage is women's sport. We're not even a women's sport. We're not a man's sport. We've got no slot in that coverage. Like it's just not going to happen. Something like really drastically bad would have to happen for us to get in any sort of the newspapers. But what we do have is we have new media. We have Korfball League setting the model of just how to stream and to show Korfball off and have great commentary, and then have a really great thriving league over there. For England Korfball, like, yeah, organisationally we peaked just before COVID, and that's why I think we got set back because of the Copperbox, but we're kind of hopefully heading back there now. I think structurally we're doing okay. You know, what do we want to happen? What do we think could happen that's suddenly going to make our lives easier? It's not going to get any easier. We just got to try and do it more ourselves or enjoy what is available. Go to the Netherlands more. You know, like, we are part of Korfball family, and it just so happens that it's headquartered just across the sea in the Netherlands. Go there more. Take your club there more. Go to tournaments. Get Dutch coaches over. I think that what I see differently, although I'm not so involved, is that we used to go to Holland all the time. I say Holland, the Netherlands, all the time for like club coaches. Beck, we used to go every year. Do you still go, Caitlin?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
yeah,
been
and
for
so
a while now, yeah.
so, like, you know, always like making sure your club is doing those trips over to the Netherlands or Belgium, or going to Hungary for tournaments. Does your club morale wonders? You know, like, people have to give up a week's work, or let's say 2 or 3 days work to do it over a weekend, or even less, and it's fun, and you become more enthusiastic, and you'll try and make everything around you even better. So I would say the number one thing for a club to enhance itself and to start going the next level is start as a club going to the Netherlands and playing tournaments, like, for fun. They're great, outdoors, summertime, and all players should be watching Korfball League. And can you imagine growing up in a time when there's no Korfball League, Caitlin, where you couldn't go watch the best players? We had to have like a dodgy old VHS. Literally, pass round from people to people, and you're going, "Have you got the tape?" "Yeah, I've got the tape. I haven't watched it yet." "All right, next weekend I see you. I want that tape." And you get the tape, and it'd be like the final from 2 years ago. And like, it's in Dutch commentary. You don't know who the players are. It doesn't matter, but you're just going, "Wow, look at that." And we sit around and we watch it and we talk about Corphball as we're watching that. That's one tape we got every year. Sorry, Blanket, that was it. And now the young players have got, like, Corphball League is so good that they can go watch this and really, like Birmingham City, like when we were challenging for National League, everybody's watching Corphball League. We talk about Corphball, we got to training, did you see that game? Did you see that game? That's how, you know, so let's not just consider the size of Korfball because of Korfball in England. Really, we have to attach ourselves to the motherland in some sense, or psychologically, and see that Corphball is thriving. Yeah, for getting more countries, things are more organised, there's better streaming. I just don't see what this next big step that's suddenly going to break it and make our lives easier. I just wish we had more funding. I just wish people players didn't have to pay so much. In particular, the better the player you are, the more you pay, because of the more trips that you go on. I'd love to see some of these things financed, but I'd stopped worrying about that a long time ago. Do the things that you do just a little bit better, coach better, have a bigger session, do more trips. So I'll stop ranting.
Yeah, I think that's really, really, really insightful. I'm sure Caitlin feels the same way. It's always good just getting opinions and talking about these things and opening a forum for discussion, right? To make sure that people hear it and hopefully other people can talk about what might work, what won't work. It gives people new ideas, all of those things. But appreciate that, Tom. Very insightful. And I guess also some good gas for a friend of the podcast, Ross Cartaylor. I'm sure I'll give him a message after this being like, listen out for Mark, or whatever it is. But yeah, all good. But before we let you leave, Tom, you've been so gracious with your time. I did message you beforehand, say one of the things that we thought would be really fun to hear from both Caitlin and I would be, you've commentated on so many different players, and we asked you if you could to keep it to the English, and it could be a division or it could be a team. It's up to you. I'm cautious on the times. We'll kind of have to probably rattle through it relatively quickly. But would you be able to give us a selection of players that are your favorite to watch? It doesn't have to be ability. It can be if you want, but it's more so, who do you love watching? Who comes on that you're just excited for?
Okay, let me start. I'll just keep throwing them out. Like Steve Jones, like, as a player, and when I used to watch it, was incredible. He used to scare me. He was the only player that, like, honestly, I wasn't great going backwards. No, I thought I was a pretty good defender, but like Steve Jones had this, that, and this one-handed basketball shot before it was fashionable with anybody. And I've played in some incredible games with him. And really, yeah, look, I'd give him new legs, although he's still pretty fit. Give him new legs, and I'd pay to watch him. Neil Brennan, look, I know she gets mentioned a lot on the podcast there, but she's great. She moves the ball. I was thinking about things I'd like to see Neil, but I like to see it when she hasn't got any other scorers in the division and she has to do more of the scoring herself. She's very tricksy. Look, I mean, her passing and all the position is great, but when she has to she thinks, okay, no, look, I'm going to have to score 5 here. That's when I enjoy her because she's just the way she has to trick her player, especially if because she's not the fastest. So I enjoy watching her. Catherine Brooks, used to love watching her. It's like a wrecking ball, just diving in, creating lots of energy. I think there's lots of great girls who followed in the steps of Catherine. The Turner sisters are both great, and let's say Shannon Jones. But I think Catherine might be one of the originals of that, and I've really used to enjoy watching her play. Yeah, look, and then you can just say, but we had to cut him off as he was about to say all those people, all his friends and, and everybody that he knows. Dev Patel, he's another good mate. I'm gonna have to just say it because he's a good mate, and I have watched him play quite a lot. Joe Bedford, I've had to apologise to him at least twice because I don't like his shot. I don't like his shot.
Not a nice extension.
It is exactly, Caitlin. It is not aesthetically pleasing to me. But that dude turns up. He's fit. He scores goals. So I just have to temper what I'm saying because everything else he does is absolutely fantastic, and I've got so much admiration for him. Just a couple of times it slips out. I think I said one again. But he's very gracious. He's always just he's probably just scored 6 goals, so he's probably feeling okay with that. So look, let me leave it at that. I mean, but so many great players around at the moment, and look, more video, more commentary makes them more accessible to people to watch.
There he is.
Yeah, agreed. And just that's all phenomenal players that you've mentioned. Would love, like we say, in a different world, there'll be a lot more video evidence of people like Steve Jones and those that I'm sure we'd love to turn back the clock and watch. But the players that we do have video content on, I'm sure most of the listeners know exactly who they are, but if not, you got to go and check those out. They're all crowd favorites, as well as there's a reason that they're people's favorites. It's not just multiple people saying it. It's because they're great to watch. Tom, you've been a legend for coming and joining us. As mentioned briefly earlier on, we have got plans with Tom in the new year to produce. We're not sure exactly what it will look like. We'll figure it out as a collective with Jess as well, I think, what we're going to do there. But me and Caitlin are going to try and dip our foot for one game into the commentary world. I think, Tom, before you go, do just want to call out that you do want to do some kind of commentary kind of course or something like that. I think you've done this before, no? Someone told me you've done something like this before as well.
Yeah, I have. I've ran a course maybe 6 or 7 times online, and most recently for some Malaysian commentators for the Asia Cup. But what I want to do with Jess is a UK focused for commentary pairs, boy and girl teams, because you need a boy and girl team to commentate. Boy and girl teams join together, and hopefully that will be able for them find someone to commit with to say, look, we'll do some commentary together. And then so I think it can be a really advanced course, and it can really kind of just rely on the fact that you know exactly how to commentate already. There's nothing that I've invented. I've invented a few phrases for people to laugh at, but the rest of it is just what commentators say. And so I think you two would be fantastic at it, and maybe we'll try and get some more to do that as well. But let's get you guys on the mic. Let's get you picking a game. I want to hear what you've got to say.
Famous last words.
Yeah. We've spoken about this. Caitlin and I have sat on the sidelines of many games together and questioned whether or not this is really the role for us. As sometimes what comes out of our mouth is probably not commentary acceptable. But we'll work on that, won't we, Caitlin?
You'll just slip into the mode. I've interviewed Caitlin a few times, and she does the athlete. This is what I'm supposed to answer thing. You just we've all got it in us. We know what it is we're supposed to say. We know what it is we're supposed to do. But you just get a chance to add a little bit of your own twist on it and some of your own words. And you can apologize all you want to the people you're about to offend. But probably better just that you say what you think and own your views. If someone comes up to you and say, "Why'd you say that?" I says, "Well, I suppose that's what I thought at the time when I was watching you shoot." Right.
Yeah. No, really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to hearing you.
Yeah, no, it should be really fun, and thanks for reaching out to us about that. It should be should be a good one.
Yeah. We'll work our way through it, but then we also plan on doing some content around it so that other people can realize hopefully how accessible it is, how easy it can be, and how it would be great to see that. I watch a lot of Korfball. I get sent a lot of Korfball, especially since we started this podcast. It's been great. I'm watching like Manchester Regional League 2 or whatever it is, and so yeah, I think that any commentary on that is always going to be beneficial for the game and helping the sport grow. Yeah, Tom, you have been the leading pillar. You and Nick Wilkins, is it? Have obviously been.
Nick's been massive. He's a legend, really, like in many aspects, but certainly in driving video and filming forward in the UK. Let's mention Jess as well. She's great looking. So I don't know if I'd still be doing it unless I was enjoying it as much as I was enjoying it with Jess when we do it.
Yeah. You are an elite pair, and always love it when the two of you are commentating together. And we mentioned on the Jess podcast, want all four of us to do something because we think it will just be a lot of fun. And hopefully this content idea will come to life and it will be great. We'll encourage more people to get involved. That's always the aim. That's always the ambition and the end goal. But listen, Tom, thank you for being so gracious with your time. Thank you for taking your Saturday afternoon to get out a last minute podcast with us. As we expected, you've been nothing short of awesome. We've had a great time. It's been a phenomenal hour and 15 minutes or whatever. And just thank you so much, man. We're really, really, really grateful.
I appreciate being on. Hey, all the best for the rest of the podcast. And see you soon for the commentary.
Yeah, see you soon. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Tom. He's such a nice guy, isn't he?
Do you know what? I feel like I would trust anything he said. He's just got one of those that familiar voice, that presence. I'm like, great to chat to him. And also, one thing is, he's obviously, kind of the voice we all know commentating, but he's not gatekeeping that. He's very happy to like get other people involved. He doesn't want to be just kind of the only one. So really encouraging to see he's being so encouraging of others getting into commentary too.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, one thing I didn't really know that I feel like the talking to him just really outlined is this kind of relentless passion. That obviously we know he's passionate. You can hear it on the commentary. That is what stands out with him and Jess's commentary. That is what makes them so phenomenal at it, is that there's clearly a distinct love of what they're seeing on the pitch. You feel that from them. But it's the fact that he's gone to all these events, he's paid to get in some of the events. He's done it because he knows it's what people want and it helps the sport become bigger and greater. And even if it's not growing, the people that do engage with it are getting content. And that's because of Tom. So huge credit to him and Nick Wilkins, who, by the way, is also a phenomenal commentator. I believe it's him that does some of the events with Tom, and he's outstanding as well. But amazing, really just incredible human being. And shout out to all of the effort that they've made. I promise it's consumed. It's definitely consumed.
Yeah, no, for real. You feel his delight and enthusiasm for the game. It's infectious.
For sure. Right, Caitlin. That, I think, summarizes this episode. It's been a long one. I reckon over an hour of this one will end up being with an edit as well. But before we go, let's try and update the listeners on some of the background, whatever. We are trying to re-record with Jack Birch and Chris West, our refereeing masterclass episode. That is one of the favorite episodes I've ever recorded in terms of the insight, the things I didn't know about the game, and just their overall, the picture. I thought it was fantastic at getting an image from them of what reffing looks like. We are aiming to record that in the next week. It is Christmas, folks. It's very busy. So we're trying. They've graciously given us some of their time. That we'll try and get out at some point, probably. It might be early in the new year. We also are recording, hopefully this week, for a fun episode that might go out over Christmas. Again, folks, there's no guarantees with this because we're relying on people's time at a time of year that is incredibly busy. So we'll leave it with, the idea is we should be back with you Boxing Day. There should be an episode of you. We don't know what it is, but we know that it will be fun regardless. And apologies that there wasn't one this week. Hopefully this goes out on Sunday. And that's kind of it from me, Caitlin. Anything to add from yourself?
When you think Christmas is all over, hopefully there's an extra special present from us on Boxing Day. But thanks for sticking with us, and I'm excited for 2026.
Yeah, love it. Anyway, that's it from us, folks. Caitlin, good luck signing us out. I'm not sure if you thought of one. Have you got one? No, go on. I'll hand over to you. Sign us out.
Just before we started, I thought of this. In the words of Tom Brady, too big, too strong, so long.
It's a great one.